Each brushstroke you take, your thought, your action, your decision, your choice, what you say, what you do, what you react, each one of those things, you have to ask yourself, why? What is the purpose of this brushstroke? You see, how you actually paint your masterpiece is that you have to have that masterpiece vision in your head already. That's already in your mind of what you want your life to be at the end of the day. And so with that vision in your mind, you're painting these brushstrokes on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis. So make every brushstroke count. Have a purpose for every brushstroke that is your life, which is your actions, decisions, your choices, what you say, what you think, how you act, how you interrelate with others. What do you want to do with your life? That is all that in the end is the masterpiece of your life. You can be a Michelangelo, you can be a Picasso, you can be a street artist with graffiti. However you want to paint your life's canvas, do it with purpose. Make each stroke, each line, each fill-in, each color, everything, make it count towards your life's masterpiece. Become that artist, and you will live a life fulfilled and rewarded at the end. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Young Nguyen. And as my family and friends affectionately call me the Ninja, my fans are my friends too, and you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, self-development, self-improvement, success, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Spring is upon us. By the time this episode airs, I think we're past February into March, celebrating almost our 2-year anniversary of the podcast. And I'm going to start this podcast as I start every podcast, as I start every day, and that is with an expression of gratitude. If you're new to the show, or if you know by now, I wake up every morning thanking God, the universe, for another day to be great, another day to inspire. And with that, I want to thank you all, my listeners and my fans and my friends and family who have supported me over the course of these 2 years, for all the love and support, for sharing the show, for commenting, liking, all of the things that I'm asking you to do to grow our show. I do this on my own time, So I pay for all of this myself. There's a team here that spends their time trying to get this product finished for you and for our audience. And so the only way we grow our show, grow our mission, which is to inspire billions of lives across this planet to live to your fullest controllable potential, is for you all to share the show. And so I like to say, if you learned something, if you found something humorous, valuable, inspirational, whatever, if you found just 0.0001% something positive about this episode or any other episode, please do share the show. As I like to say, if your knowledge swell, share the show. So, and that's how we grow. So thank you all out there in podcast land for just supporting us over the last 2 years as we encroach upon episode number 100. It's coming around very, very soon. So I want to start this episode by just saying that whether you like it or not, everybody on this planet is an artist. Okay? We are all artists. And all of us, our masterpiece is our lives. We are all artists about our lives and how we build it and construct it. And let me give you an analogy related to how we are all artists. So I grew up in the 80s and 90s, pre-internet, pre-cell phone, pre-all that. And so all we had was television and outside. Gen X, man, the latest, toughest generation ever. We were either in front of the TV as kids, we were the latchkey kids, parents were off to work. We got the keys to the house at a very young age. I think I started staying home alone when I was like 7 years old, honestly. So we'd have TV, or we'd go hustle up friends and play outside all day long, drinking water from a water hose. But going to the TV part, we didn't have that many channels. So this is before cable was just coming around. So we had the basic television, which included PBS Public Broadcasting System, Channel 8, if you were in Houston. And on that show, every afternoon, or on that channel, every afternoon, there's this guy. His name was Bob Ross. Now, if you're old enough to remember, great. You might be too young. If you're too young, you don't know who the hell I'm talking about, look him up. He's a cultural icon. When I was growing up, 8, 9, 10 years old, watching Bob Ross, number one, I was like, dude, who is this white dude with the fro? Like, if you know what I'm talking about, it was a white dude with a red-haired fro, older guy. But his stick was that he would paint every episode, 30 minutes long. And he would start with a blank canvas, and by the end of 30 minutes, it's this masterpiece of natural landscape. But the reason I'm telling you this is to get from a white canvas to the masterpiece in 30 minutes, I would watch him with these unorthodox techniques of painting. Like he would get a kind of like a spatula or a scraper and just put paint on it and just scribble into the canvas. And he'd be like, wiggle, wiggle here, wiggle, wiggle there. And he'd have this soft tone, like just this soft, like you would almost put you to sleep, very meditative, just this dude you feel like you could hang out with, very hippie-esque, just kind of chill, relax. He would get his paint brushes, like a fan brush and just a full-on like carpenter paintbrush. And he just like dabble here and there, dabble here and there. And over the course of 30 minutes, you're like, what the hell is this dude doing? Because it did not look like traditional brush strokes. He would just, here, we go here, we're going to dabble there, and pop, 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 pop here, there. And so you're just mesmerized. But ultimately, at the end of 30 minutes, as you pan out, as the camera panned out of the canvas, it was this magnificent, just realistic landscape of like the mountains with a stream and a lake and, the sun setting and the clouds were just these pinks and purples and all these different colorful hues. It's just amazing. And so why do I say this? Because I realize now that every time he loaded up his instrument with paint and put it to the canvas, there was a purpose. There was a purpose. There was a bigger picture in his mind on what he was doing, right? And so how does that relate to everyone listening as being the artist of your own life masterpiece? I equate each one of those. Every time he took a spatula and put paint on it and just rubbed it into the canvas, each one of those strokes is a stroke of your life, of how you paint your life. Each thought, each action, each decision, each time you speak, each time you relate with somebody, every little minute thing you do is a brushstroke in your masterpiece of your life. Even to he had, I don't know, I think he had like one brush which had like, I don't know, barely like maybe 10 bristles on it. Like these fine, like where he could like fine details. Even those type of strokes in your life are the brush strokes of your masterpiece of life. And so I say this because each time you do something, each brushstroke you take, your thought, your action, your decision, your choice, what you say, what you do, what you react, how you interrelate, each one of those things you have to ask yourself, why? What is the purpose of this brushstroke? You see, how you actually paint your masterpiece is that you have to have that masterpiece vision in your head already. That's already in your mind of what you want your life to be at the end of the day, what that masterpiece wants to look like. And so with that vision in your mind, you're painting these brushstrokes on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-by-minute, second-by-second basis with the end picture in your mind. Bob Ross wouldn't be Bob Ross if he was just randomly scraping on the canvas. It'd end up being like just abstract art, which is cool, but it didn't create the masterpieces that he created for himself, what he had in his mind. So what do you have in your mind as the masterpiece, which is your life? That is your life. What does that masterpiece look like? Okay, because if you don't have one, then you're just living life randomly. You're just putting random brushstrokes all over the place. There's not going to be an image at the end. It's just going to be an abstract life, which is okay if that's what you want. But that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is about all of you listeners painting your life's masterpiece and what that looks like. Is it, living in a mansion with an abundance of free time, with money in the bank to do whatever the hell you want? If that's your masterpiece, you've got to live each brushstroke of your life with that purpose. Each brushstroke has to have a purpose leading up to that masterpiece. Okay? If it's to create the biggest nonprofit charity to help your community, to do whatever it needs to do, if that is the masterpiece of your life, every minute brushstroke of your life, by the second, needs to have a purpose that builds up to that masterpiece. That is your life. We are all artists of our own lives. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, what does your canvas look like? What does your life, quote, masterpiece look like? The canvas of your life. Because if each brushstroke, each decision, action, choice, thought, reaction, each little brushstroke, if there's not a purpose building up to that masterpiece, it's a wasted stroke. It's a wasted brushstroke. Now here's the thing. Here's the great thing about painting. If you make a mistake, you put the wrong color, the stroke is too broad, it doesn't quite look right, what do you get to do? You get to paint over it. There's room for error. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time, the second time, or the third time. You can paint over your mistakes of the masterpiece in your life. But it'll take longer, take more practice. It'll take, more effort and energy. So why not paint each brushstroke of your life as perfectly with purpose as you possibly can? That effort, that focus, that attention, that urgency, that level of detail. Do it with precision so you can try to get it right the first time, and then you go on and you build more, or you paint more of the masterpiece that is with your life. I mean, I equate it to, I was watching a basketball game the other day. I think it was on President's Day or something like that during the national. This dude, NBA game, I forget which game it was. He's singing the national anthem while painting. And, in center court, I think it was a Los Angeles Lakers game. Center court, the dude is singing the national anthem while painting, making these weird-ass wild brushstrokes. You're sitting there the whole time in suspense, actually, like, what is this dude painting? And he's pretty talented to sing and paint at the same time. He does all these things, flips the painting around, and at the end, he has this long-bladed, I don't know what you call it, but it's a thing that you smooth concrete out, I think. But it's, white and red painted, loaded with red and white paint. And at the end, he just waves it across the canvas. And then you realize, I want to say it's that scene from Hiroshima where those military men are lifting up the American flag. But the whole time you're like, what the hell is this guy painting? And then at the end, you realize that each brush stroke he made had a purpose for that end masterpiece. That, my friends, you can go off social media and Google and YouTube all you want of artists painting. And every time you see somebody painting or whatever, and you watch these videos and you're like, what is this? What is he doing? What is he painting? These people are painting masterpieces. You need to take that same analogy and apply it to your life, because you are painting the masterpiece that is your life. Okay? Now, if you're one of those where you're doing the same thing day in and day out, that's just like getting a marker and just drawing the same line over and over and over again, right? And in the end, if that's what you want, that's okay with you. Your masterpiece is just going to be that black line on a canvas. Is that what you want for your life? Is that what you want your canvas to hang on the museum of your life, saying, this is the masterpiece that you painted for your life? I don't think so. Or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast or any other self-development podcast. See, you're listening to this because you feel like there's something more for you, that you want more out of life, that you should be doing more or getting more out of your life. And that's great. I'm glad you're listening. But know that in that desire, you're wanting to paint your life's masterpiece. So make every brushstroke count. Have a purpose for every brushstroke that is your life, which is your actions, decisions, your choices, what you say, what you think, how you act, how you interrelate with others. What do you want to do with your life? That is all that, in the end, is the masterpiece of your life. And you see, when people paint, they use different tools, and every single tool is different, right? And that's what I'm trying to give to you. The grit, determination, desire, setting the example, being the standard, knowing there's causality, A causes B. All these things, these are the different types of brushes and tools that you can use to paint that masterpiece. Okay? So, you can be a Michelangelo, you can be a Picasso, you can be a street artist with graffiti. However you want to paint your life's canvas, do it with purpose. Make each stroke, each line, each fill in, each color, everything, make it count towards your life's masterpiece. Become that artist, and you will live a life fulfilled and rewarded at the end. So, with that, I want to close the episode. As I close my day, as you all know, if you're new to the show, I end every day with an expression of gratitude to God, the universe, for another day, having lived and being inspiring and being inspired by others, and bringing my gifts and talents and living to my fullest controllable potential. So I want to thank you all for listening. And as I said at the start of the show, if you found anything interesting, valuable, made you laugh, made you think, made you cry, made you doubt, made you whatever, if you felt anything related to the show, please do share the show. Share the show. If you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow towards inspiring billions of lives across this planet to paint their masterpiece of their life and to live to their fullest controllable potential. So be great today, but be even more grateful. Looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon.